Diane. Nice to meet you. Sorry.
Good evening, everybody. This meeting was called for Monday, February 2nd, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. at Borough Hall located at 77 Summerhill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey, pursuant to provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-8B. The public may choose to attend this meeting electronically via Zoom. This meeting was advertised on Spotswood website and in the Home News Tribune. Roll call.
Councilman Larry Kramer.
Here.
Councilman Nicholas Legakis.
Here.
Councilwoman Dawn Schwartz.
Here.
Councilman Ed Seeley.
Here.
Council President Andrew Zaborni.
Here.
Mayor Rich O'Brien.
Here. Alrighty, so we have, we see that Sean is not here this evening for our CFO's report. He did tell me the CFO report was filed. So that's the update that I got from Sean. Anything else to add? Administration? Okay. Thank you very much. Engineers report. Kevin?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, all. On behalf of the Borough Engineers Office, I submit tonight's report. For a summary of 2025, Center State Engineering advanced or completed multiple borough initiatives. Our office recovered approximately $638,000 in outstanding NJDOT grant funding that has been paid to the borough. Additional funds will be recovered once the remaining 2023 NJDOT project grant funding is received. The 2023 capital improvements and 2023 NJDOT roadway improvements were reported complete with punch list items and project closeout progressing during the year. The 2024 roadway improvements moved from survey and design through NJDOT approval, bid opening, and award to Discover Construction with pre-construction planning, and included the installation of it in 2025, included the installation of a new hydrant on South Street with the remaining work to be completed in the spring. The 2025 NJDOT roadway improvements of Elm, Victoria, and Dora were funded via grant and progressed into active survey and base mapping. This office prepared and submitted the 2026 NJDOT grant application and ultimately has secured a $403,444 grant. The Manalapan Road emergency pump station repairs were completed. Emergency contracting support and full restoration of the station with completion and return to service occurred on November 19th. And the Willards-Clark Circle Crescent Avenue drainage survey effort was initiated and will continue with concept development planned after survey completion. Now into my standard report. For item number 1, there currently is no update. For item number 2, the 2025 NJDOT roadway improvements of Elm, Victoria, and Dora, the survey and base mapping of the project is complete. Our office is in the process of the project design and will submit to NJDOT for review once complete. There is no update on item number 3. And for item number 4, the Willard-Clark Circle Crescent Avenue drainage survey, our office received the survey last week. The surveyor was delayed due to weather. We've started preparing a concept plan. Once completed, we will review with the administration to determine the project design.
Thank you very much, Ms. May. Do we have any questions from council or administration regarding engineers report? I just have one question. It's more curiosity for me. When you get a grant, so number 3 on the NJDOT grant.
Yes.
How long does that last for? Is there a threshold of time, 90 days, 1 year?
So typically what happens is, for instance, we have the 2025 project that's active. That is under design and we'll submit the DOT when completed. Typically what happens, it's like a rolling year. So you get the grant for 2025 as an example, you get it in the year 2024. They award it in November. Then you have 2 years to award the project. Essentially Halloween of the following year is the cutoff date. So for the 2025, Halloween of 2026 is the cutoff date for awarding the project to a contractor.
Just throughout the years, I've always seen those. I was just curious. Thank you.
Yep.
Really neat but thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Mead? All right, thank you so much for your report. We have some ordinances on our agenda for this evening for caucus.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance 2026-01. This will be a second reading, a public hearing, and an adoption. Calendar year 2026, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 48:4-45.14. Ordinance 2026-02. This is a first reading and introduction with the public hearing scheduled for February 23rd, 2026, Stormwater Control Ordinance. Ordinance 2026-03. This is a first reading, introduction with a public hearing scheduled for February 23rd, 2026. An ordinance amending and supplementing the salary ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood entitled an amendment to an ordinance fixing and establishing the salaries and wages of certain non-bargaining unit employees of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. Ordinance 2026-04. This is a first reading, introduction, public hearing scheduled for February 23rd, 2026. Refunding ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, providing for the refunding of all or a portion of a temporary emergency appropriation of the borough, appropriating a combined amount not to exceed $3,400,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $3.4 million amount of general obligation refunding bonds and or notes of the Borough of Spotswood for financing the cost thereof.
So thank you so much. Does anyone here on council have any questions regarding any of these ordinances?
Yeah, with regards to 2026-04, do we have any information, further information on what the terms are of the bond? The amount of years or?
So what we're seeking tonight is permission to go before the local finance board. And we're tentatively scheduled for February 11th. So at that juncture, we would learn from LFB what we can do in terms of short-term financing, the length, and then the cost. Because at this point, it's all tentative depending on what they allow us to do. What we're seeking permission for is to get a short-term loan, ultimately turn that into a bond. And then as we receive proceeds, this all relates to the money that was stolen from us and from the school district. So what we're trying to do is make the school district whole, because it's a matter of timing. They can't wait for this matter to get fully resolved. And we have a statutory obligation to them. So what we're trying to do is arrange short-term financing, roll it into a bond, and then as we get proceeds, we would put that directly towards the principal of whatever arrangement LFB allows us to make. And what we're seeking is help from the state. Those are ongoing conversations. They've got stalled a little bit with the advent of a new administration. So we were talking to the old administration. Now we're talking to the new administration. Our insurance claim is still ongoing. That would be a form of proceeds. And then lastly, we would get potentially other recoveries. For example, we have $233,000 hung up in, I guess, in a frozen bank account, and there's a potential for further recoveries. So our hope is after the hearing on the 11th, when we come back for second reading and public hearing, we'll be able to give more definitive detail as to the cost to each of the taxpayers.
And then with regards to what we do recover, what we do, if we do get money back from the insurance, how did that get applied to what we borrow?
I think what we do is we set up a dedicated trust line, and then any monies we get have to go towards the repayment of principal. That's to prevent us from shifting it into general operations or any other form of our budget.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments before?
Just going back to Councilman Lazakis' first question, you said short term, how short term?
That's up in the air. That's one of the things that LFB gets to decide. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, we don't know. So initially it would probably be 1 to 3. That's the short-term portion, but then we would convert that into refunding bonds. And that's what we don't know, because we haven't appeared before local finance. With a bond issue of this size, we have to go before them.
So I like math. And I did a lot of math in the last few days. So going on short term, 1 to 3 years, depending on where it is. If you are approximately, again, I wrote to Mr. Carr regarding a $250,000 value on house. You got double that because most of these houses are around 500,000. I ran some tight numbers. So if you did 1 year, you're looking over $1,000 to $1,200 in the year on a 1 year. On the 2 year, it would be a little bit less, and then on 3 year, be a little bit, yes, less. So if you extend it to 12 to 15 years, right, you're looking at $29,
Right.
maybe $60, depending where it is. But with this trust, the plan is to pay the immediate, right, to pay it back in full.
So whatever monies we would get in
Right.
terms of recovery,
Right.
we would then send that towards the principal. Say it was a 7-year bond. We would not have a prepayment penalty. We could just start making our payments. The equivalent of if you had a 15-year mortgage and you chose to pay it back much earlier,
Mhm.
that would be our intention.
I see. So why is it 3.4 million, not 3.3 million that you're asking in the paperwork here?
There's the
What's
cost of the cost of the financing itself. The analogy would be like with a mortgage closing costs, there's fees to bond counsel. So that the 3.293 would go to the school district.
Mhm.
The additional monies would be towards the cost of financing it,
Mhm.
the whole arrangement.
So if it goes into, this is all exploratory, that's what we're voting on, just to be clear, right, all exploratory. February 11th, they're gonna have this meeting.
Right.
When do you anticipate council having enough time to get all the information back that you received so we can make a fair and concrete study of it for February 23rd? Just asking.
Yeah, I would say the 12th, the next day, because, well, the only predicate to that is if LFB gives us definitive answers on the 11th. If they take a couple days to issue what's the right word, decision, but as soon as we get it, you'll have it.
So within 2 to 3 business days, we could.
I don't want to speak for a local
No, I know.
finance
I'm
board,
just
but yeah, that would
trying
be, as soon as we get it.
The 15th, then we meet the 23rd, that'd be 7 days for us to review it, ask our questions, et cetera, to be perfectly clear and to, then when it's posted, we're gonna get all the questions out. So just looking at,
Mhm.
you know,
That would be our intention, yeah.
Yeah, timing is. Did any of the application get filed yet or go out or anything explored? Because we're talking about tonight, just asking.
We have sent the preliminary application. We have a tentative hearing date,
Yes,
but in order for us to hold that date, we seek your permission tonight.
but everything went out already before our,
We had to do that in order to get the hearing date.
okay. To be fair,
Mhm.
I didn't receive any information on that to be informed that it went out to hold a hearing date, whatnot. So just hearing that it was sent out prior to a vote and not being informed prior, I understand you have to, business
Mhm.
moves forward, but I didn't have that data.
Yeah,
If we could have that from the business administrator's office or when everything goes out, so we have at least for me, then I'll disperse it. to
Yeah,
council if they want to utilize.
these documents prepared by bond counsel.
Sure.
Bond counsel will be with us on the 23rd to
Mm.
answer questions from council and from the public. But the application itself, yeah, I think we can share that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Council, if I may, so we have the application prepared. When the council tonight approves the resolution to apply to the local finance board and passes the bond ordinance at first reading, that is our packet to the local finance board for the meeting of the 11th. They'll take no action and not hear us until they actually have those documents in their hands. So what we have now is the draft application to the local finance board to include the supplemental questions that the local finance board required. So we've answered all those questions. And we had last week, probably a 90-minute phone call, Zoom call with the local finance board and subsequent phone calls with the bond counsel and team to make sure that our application is ready. That's why you have it all tonight. We would have had it, of course, on the 23rd, but you know, that snowstorm thing going on. So when we submit it, if you'd like a copy of it, absolutely, it is a public document. But we have not submitted anything at this time. Because we haven't been authorized to submit anything at this time.
So,
So we have a draft, I mean,
okay,
not a draft. They penciled our name in for the 11th. But until we get the documents, they won't act on it.
right. Okay. All right, when you get all the information, send it right out, 'cause I'm gonna be very, what I do. I like to call and communicate with information to council throughout the week when I get it. If I had that, I could say X, Y, Z, here this is and whatnot to help with their decisions, however they decide, I don't mind how they decide, it's up to them, each vote is up to them. So it just helps with our decision making and timing, and the number of years I've been doing this. You know, it seems like we get some information, it's just, but here you go, you gotta make a decision in, not for this case maybe, but maybe. Within 24 hours, and that's very difficult, especially these kind of numbers, to be fair. So, that's why I'm asking.
No, I think it's a fair question, and certainly it is not our intention to give you 24 hours with a decision of this magnitude. We have to do this in certain procedural steps. So part of it is getting a tentative hearing date. We did that, having bond counsel put together the requisite materials. The next part is seeking your permission to explore this. That's what we're asking for tonight. And if you grant it, we'll then file the paperwork, and of course, you'll be copied on all of it.
And if I may ask about 01, the first one that we're doing first public hearing tonight for, is that established a cap bank, is that another loan to borrow 400?
No, sir, that's an ordinance that we do every year that raises our debt limit, allowing for additional bonding up to 3.5%
Okay.
over the cap. If you don't use it, you don't use it, but if you need it, it's there.
Okay.
Last year we did one, I'm sure you did one in years past, it's sort of a pro forma kind of thing.
Some of the questions I asked have been asked to me, so
No,
that's
all-
why.
Good question, good question.
And other
good question.
people up here are shaking heads and they, perfect, I'm just asking what I was
No.
reached out to about.
Good question,
Thank
it's
you.
standard, it's part of the budget, it's sort of like giving you some slack in the system if you need it.
Fair enough. Any other comments, questions on any?
Yeah,
Please.
thank you. I'm having a hard time with your statement that said you're looking to take a short-term loan and roll it over into a bond. Can you explain that? Because that to me seems like two separate entities. Like, can you explain to me how that works?
So by a short-term loan, 1 to 3 year payback, I think the council president mentioned a few moments ago, that tax impact is dramatic. So what we would do is seek that to get the immediate financing so that we can cut a check to the school district in the amount that we owe them. Then we would roll that debt into a longer term bond, lowering the cost. It's not two loans, it's the same amount, just financed differently.
Okay, so why are we not going straight to the bond? Why are we taxing ourselves with a short-term loan that we are then going to roll into a bond?
My understanding from talking to bond counsel is that's the requirement.
So
That's
you
the way
have to take a loan-
LFB requires it.
So you have to take a loan before you can apply for the bond.
Yes. That's what we're told, yes.
It's the finance laws of the state of New Jersey. I mean, there are two things on the agenda, as you see. There's the emergency appropriation, which allows us to pay the school as soon as possible. As soon as we can, have the second reading for that authorization and that borrowing, that short-term borrowing, if given, when given permission by the finance board, we can then cut that check to the school as the mayor mentioned, if you consider like a mortgage or a line of credit. And then as the November time period, or as we go every year, we did last year, we refinance our existing debt. As you refinance your existing debt of the borough, the debt that we have to actually borrow on this 3.3 for the school, plus about $100,000 to pay all the parties that the bond counsel and the attorneys and the financial guys and all the rest of that. As money comes in, the amount of money that we have to then borrow on a cyclical basis is reduced by the proceeds that we get. In the event that the money that we're waiting from the prosecutor's office, the 220,000 dollars, if we get that before we go out and actually have to borrow the money, then our borrowing would be that much less. Okay, we're still arguing with the insurance company. If that comes in soon, that'll be that much less that we actually have to borrow.
Towards the short-term loan.
Correct.
So
And our
that would cut the increase to the residents.
Correct.
So the goal is to get as much money as possible
Yes.
by December.
Correct.
So that in January, we'll know.
Yeah, so our hopes, our intent, our ask to the finance board is a 15-year payout. The challenge the finance board has is that this is not a traditional loan or an application to the finance board. If we were in front of the finance board because we needed $3.3 million for a firehouse or a fire truck or a municipal building, then you'd have, normal conversations about the useful life of the item that you're purchasing. Okay, we're going to them because for all intents and purposes, we were robbed. Let's not put too fine of a point on it, but that's what happens, and we're asking them to honor, assist the borough and taxpayers by extending the length of the payout, if you will. We've had some sharp conversations, Councilwoman, with them, where one of them said, well, why don't you just throw it on the tax rate this year? And we, had to politely say, are you crazy? Am I gonna give everybody an $1,100 per year tax increase for 1 year? No. So that's why we're going through all of this to extend the note. There's been considerable conversation back and forth.
But we're still talking about that $1,100 tax rate for the year
That's math.
next year.
That's just the math. If they disagree with, that they deny our application. I don't think it's viable that they will, but that's the math as the council president says.
And what would the math be what is the actual math then?
We don't know because they haven't told us what are the length of our loan, because that's what we're waiting, and that's what we have to get their approval in the terms. They said that.
So they set the terms, so let's say it's a 3-year loan before you roll it over into a bond. After those 3 years, that tax increase should then come off.
Yes.
Good luck.
For that, yes.
Yeah, that's not happening.
What's our collateral? Because I go into a bank and they look at me and they say, well, Andrew, you have X, Y, and Z, you own this, you own that, you have a couple of this, you have a couple of that, and I get based on that. You ask them for 3.4, whatever it is, right? And there's some other numbers here I'm gonna bring up much later. What's our collateral? What are we putting up?
Our statutory ability to raise taxes. That's unfortunately, that is their answer. Okay, we don't have collateral, we can't, like, we're not, what I'm saying, the collateral is the ability of the borough to raise the revenue from taxation. There is no traditional collateral, like put your house up,
We are the collateral.
we
I
are the
understand.
collateral, that's it.
How long do they, maybe had this question, does it take to roll over to a bond? And there's no guarantee that it will happen. And also there's interest on the new bond, so we're gonna get another 100,000, 150,000 for handling fees, and I understand everybody gets paid to do work, I'm not gonna take that away from banking. I mean, that's what I do also, so there's no guarantees.
No, sir.
And what's our credit rate? Sorry, Sean's not here, thank you for answering these, but what's the credit rate going in? I remember asking last administration, and we had maybe a threshold of about 12 to 13 million left that we could actually go and ask for. And I would publicly state it, and I asked that question publicly, so that's why I'm asking that again. What's our credit rating?
I don't have that answer.
I don't know the answer to that. I know that the local finance board is going to take notice of situation at hand here, which is we were, both our entity and the school district were victimized in a cyber crime. So they take some notice of that in an effort to try and minimize the damage. The costs are hard to say because of the two items we talked about. One is the term. We don't know the length of the financing arrangement yet. The other is we don't know what interest will be charged. I think you had asked a moment ago, how long would it take to roll this over into the fund? We think we would be able to do that by the fall,
I'm sorry.
by the fall of this year.
Okay, all of 26.
Yeah. So our hope is we get a positive result on February 11th. We immediately report to you and the residents. Second hearing, public hearing, second notice is on the 23rd. We vote whichever way the council will authorize us to vote. And then we go forward with the arrangement. The question that should be asked also is, well, what happens if we don't vote for it?
You read my mind.
Yeah,
Seriously.
that could be catastrophic in that we have a statutory obligation to the school district. If we don't meet it, it would be devastating to their operations. And I would not want to speak for them, but they have attorneys. And I imagine they would seek remedies.
Any other questions, comments, please?
Is there any penalty involved in this loan if we pay off early?
No.
No. We were assured by bond counsel that there's no prepayment penalty. So as we get proceeds, recovery, otherwise, we can use that to pay down the principal on whatever form of debt we have outstanding. That's what bond counsel has assured us. So that's our hope.
So basically what they get is the $100 and some $1,000 set up as a finance fee. For them handling it.
Those are the fees associated with creating the financing. There will be interest in whatever form of debt. And as the interest comes due, we have to pay it. But we can pay down the principal with the recoveries that we get.
Any idea of the interest rate, or we won't know that until they do it?
I really don't know, Councilman. I don't know yet.
More please, Mr. Seeley.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
The question was, what's the interest rate gonna be? And the answer is, we don't know yet.
I could hold. I have a few more coming up. So, any other on this discussion?
Thank you. Resolutions that will be under the consent agenda include Resolution 2026-41. Resolution authorizing the hiring of a per diem police dispatcher for the Spotswood Department of Public Safety. Resolution 2026-42. Resolution authorizing the hiring of a per diem emergency medical technician, Charlie A. Barnes, for the Borough of Spotswood EMS Department. Resolution 2026-43, resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Water Resource Management Incorporated. Resolution 2026-44, resolution authorizing a tax refund 206 Adirondack Avenue. Resolution 2026-45, a resolution promoting Robert P. Hettinger and authorizing Water Department standby assignment at the Daniel Road Water Plant. Resolution 2026-46, a resolution appointing Joanna Carlson as Administrative Assistant to the Department of Public Works and authorizing a stipend. Resolution 2026-47, resolution authorizing payment application of furnished material, labor, and equipment for construction of new well for Daniel Road, new placement well number 6, and final retainage in the Borough of Spotswood. Resolution 2026-48, a resolution authorizing payment number 1 to Discover Construction LLC for the NJDOT Municipal Aid Program fiscal year 2024 SP 25-001-05 Daniel Road, Vaughan Avenue, and Gover Court. Resolution 2026-49, a resolution appointing council liaisons to various boards, committees, and departments for the calendar year 2026. Resolution 2026-50, resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2026 Ford Super Duty F-350 SRW X3B XL four-wheel drive Super Cab 8-inch box under New Jersey State Contract Number 24 Fleet 107622. Resolution 2026-51, resolution authorizing the list of wrecker licenses for the year 2026. Resolution 2026-52, authorization for a tax refund 208 Main Street. Resolution 2026-53, resolution authorizing the submission of a grant submission to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs fiscal year 26 Local Recreation Improvement Grant Program. Resolution 2026-54, resolution authorizing the purchase of self-contained breathing apparatus SCBA equipment for the Spotswood Fire Department through New Jersey State Contract Number 24 Fleet 61850. Resolution 2026-55, resolution for temporary emergency appropriations. Resolution 2026-56, resolution accepting the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety State Fiscal Year 25 State Body Armor Replacement Fund BARF Program Grants. Resolution 2026-57, resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Spotswood to provide for the transfer of year 2026 budget appropriations. Resolution 2026-58, resolution authorizing the award of an emergency contract to B&W Construction for repairs to water main breaks pursuant to NJSA 48:11-6. Resolution 2026-59, resolution of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the purchase of a new ambulance from First Priority Emergency Vehicles through Sourcewell Contract number 110921 DEM in the amount of $208,000 and $208,781. Resolution 2026-60, approval of payment of bills. Resolution 2026-61, resolution authorizing a contract with Univar USA Incorporated through the North Jersey Wastewater Cooperative Pricing System NJWWCPS not to exceed $50,000. Resolution 2026-62, resolution of the Borough of Spotswood making application to the local finance board pursuant to NJSA 48:2-51A. Resolution 2026-61, approval of the addendum of the payment of bills. Resolution 2026-64, resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved state contract vendors for contracting units pursuant to NJSA 48:11-12A. Resolution 2026-65, resolution authorizing purchases from approved cooperative contracts with awarded vendors for calendar year 2025 pursuant to NJSA 48:11-11.5 and NJAC 5:37-7.1 at SEQ. Whew.
Too late now.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
All right, does anyone on council have any questions regarding any of the resolutions or discussion, please?
Resolution 2026-58. When I was on council the first time.
Mike,
When I was on council the first time, our own department used to do water main break and saved us a lot of money. I know they still have the equipment to do it. Why are we contracting out to someone else? And not having our own guys do it?
So we had two gentlemen who worked in the water department that had the requisite licenses to both operate the water treatment plant. And also in the event of a break, depending on the severity of the break, they have to be able to certify that the repair will not affect the quality of the water. Those gentlemen left under the previous administration. So at that point, we had to contract with someone to provide both the license for us to operate our water treatment plant, which ended up shutting down, and we got it back up running this year. That's Daniel Road. And then they also sign off on our repairs so that state DEP is satisfied that we affected the repair properly without any risk to the residents and the users of our water system. So that's where B&W comes in.
Okay, I understand that, but can't we send our own people for training to be able to do that, to get their licenses? Because I remember going out on those water main breaks. And, you know, they did a fantastic job. And it didn't cost the township 40,000 or 50,000 or 60, whatever it costs every time the water main breaks. And we have lots of water main breaks.
Yeah, we had another one just a couple of hours ago, unfortunately. It's running about 9 to 10,000 per break. We do have 2 gentlemen that are interested and have started the process. It takes 2 years. Because there's multiple licenses you have to get. So our hope is that they'll come up to speed and get signed off, and then we would be able to bring it back in the house. We currently use our own people at times in the water plant and on weekend standby duty. But in the event they go into a plant or they go into a break and it's significant, they have to stop and call, and then these guys come out.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you.
I have another question on that. B&W does the repairs, right? And we have somebody else that we're running off their license, a water company that we're running off their license. Do they come out and inspect the repairs that B&W does?
They're part of the process, yes, sir.
They do come out and inspect that.
Yeah.
So they could actually come out and inspect us as well, if our guys did it.
Yes. So we have on the agenda tonight, you'll see RVE, Bennington, Barrick. They are the licensed water plant operator for the borough. Okay, they're the ones who fill out all the forms and submit all the documentation to DEP, have all the conversations with myself for matters over at the water plant. And those kinds of things that we need in a plant, they all come from Mike, from RVE, through Matt and I. That conversation end up on the bills list. That's why we have Univar on here tonight, the firm that we use to buy chemicals for the water plant.
I have a question with regards to resolution 2026-55. I'm a little confused about the math here, where in the third paragraph, it says that the resolution total is $8.37 million for the current fund and 1.329 for the water and sewer utility fund, but the current fund total is 4.897, and the water sewer utility operating fund is 123,750 for a total of 5.021. So what is the math in the third paragraph in comparison to the line items?
What's the resolution on
53. It's 53.
Would it be
No,
53 in your
55.
old packets?
It's 53 in the old packet, 55 in the new packet. Not to speak out of turn, but I would, without Sean being here, this could be a typo. Because you actually correct, doesn't come out that correct. The math does not come out. We traditionally roll over previous ones. We may not have, we may have transcribed the numbers. But we can fix it correctly prior to the council pass it. We will fix the math so that it is consistent with requirement. Because without this resolution, we can't start the process to pay the school.
So on that note, if we were to approve this tonight, then we're moving money over before we vote on the ordinance for the loan.
This is the spending authorization.
Right, so we would be spending the money, so there would be a deficit.
No, sir, this is, so part of this is the taxes on the school for the farm, and then a lot of these other ones are, you know, like the grants and some of the other things that are not as important as the $3.3 million.
Mhm.
Okay, but they're all into the same resolution that we presented tonight.
So can't we just vote on this when we vote on the ordinance?
For the second reading?
Yes.
No, sir, because I need this to go to a local finance board. So we can correct the math. So that can go to the local finance board tomorrow. If the council holds on to it till the 23rd of February, we will miss the 11th February finance board.
You change the amount, you have to do the resolution.
This is inaccurate, because if I just may, and I'm sorry, Councilman, can I interrupt?
No.
So what I will be wrong, I'm gonna say this number. All right, so we have 3.3 million on the top, and then we have all these other numbers that are all these transfers and all this. $4,897,781.33. They have the water and sewers, etc. But down the bottom, you have a total of $5,021,531.33. If you add the 4 and the 5 millions together, you have $9,919,312.66. Are we borrowing $9,919,312?
That's the total.
But that's the total. I'm very confused, because if we're taking from our own funds, I'm gonna agree with Councilman Legakis. That's negative. And if this isn't accurate, I am not comfortable with passing anything that's not accurate, typo, admitted typo. I
That's quite all
understand.
right, sir.
It's
You're
very
you're
difficult.
correct, then we should not do it. And we'll sort it out, as they say, at Fort Bragg on the drop zone.
But some of these emergency appropriations, I think we voted on previously.
But, well, due respect,
Right.
this is all lumped together.
Right.
So even though we voted prior,
Right.
just going off of 2026 55 or 53, but this is 55, I believe that's accurate, 55. I cannot move forward on this. I would need to table this until it's accurate.
That's fine.
And if, I'll make a motion to table if anyone wants to second, but that's where I stand. But let's hear other opinions if people would like to share. That's my opinion.
I'll second.
I'll second it. All due respect.
No, it's quite all right, sir.
I have a second.
We'll call the roll. Council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Sealy,
Yes.
DeBorney.
Yes.
So we're, just so I understand, we're tabling resolution 2026-55.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
You know what, this is not the appropriate time to table a resolution. That comes during the regular meeting. All you're doing is indicating to the public what resolution you want on the agenda.
Thank you.
So that vote needs to be rescinded. If there was just a vote to table something. And I apologize for not listening, but I was just trying to do the math here. So was there a motion made?
Yeah.
All right,
Mr. Crane, Councilman Crane.
all right, that motion needs to be rescinded by somebody seconded, and then you can deal with that during the regular thing.
Okay. And then we'll come back to it.
All right, so I need a motion to rescind whatever that vote was just now.
Motion to rescind tabling 2026-55.
Is there a second?
Second. Yeah.
All right, now we need a roll call.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yeah.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Sealy,
Yes.
DeBorney.
Yes.
All right, and you want to deal with this issue, you'll deal with it during the regular meeting when you're dealing with voting on or tabling resolutions at that time.
Thank you kindly. I apologize, but thank you.
No problem. Yep.
Okay. Any other comments, anything on our resolutions from council? Any others to discuss? Okay, so I have 62 to bring up. 62, I believe, is the actual application of the bond, is that correct?
That's where you would grant permission for us to go before
Correct.
local finance board.
And we'll bring it up in regular, but if I can't agree to 55, I need to do the same on 62. Of the application until we have all accurate location of monies and accuracy on numbers that are going out in the application.
then I would respectfully request that council consider the implication of that. And perhaps we could correct the paperwork and schedule a special meeting, because we run the risk of not being able to appear before LFB on February 11th.
And to be clear, I'm not saying to do that because of, but due to this paperwork 55 is the reason
Right.
of, we have to, for me, to keep consistent at that.
Sure.
Just so for the public to understand my reasoning, please.
Yeah, I just want to make clear, if we don't appear before the board on February 11th, we would have to go to the next local finance board meeting, which I apologize, I would assume it's in March, but I don't have a date.
And if this is inaccurate again, we'll be at the same spot, but I understand just so that, so we're not agreeing on this, we're just stating possible special.
Yeah, I'm just looking at resolution 55. And I believe that there is a typo on the third whereas. Because I added up, just so the board, the council is aware of this, and you can discuss this further during the regular meeting. But the current fund appropriations are $4,897,781.33. All of those various current fund appropriations add up to that number. Under the water sewer utility operating fund, it adds up to $123,750. So those numbers in paragraph 1 are correct. The $4,897,781.33 for the current fund, and for the water and sewer utility operating fund of $123,750, for a total of $5,021,531.33. The typo appears in the preamble, in the third paragraph, where it says it has a figure of $8,370.94. I have no idea where that number comes from. I would suspect that that number should be replaced with $4,897,781.33. And as well, the figure that's there for the water and sewer utility fund is listed at $329.36.88. That should actually state $123,750. So the typo, in my opinion, is in the preamble in paragraph 3. So if these numbers are correct in paragraph 1, that needs to be corrected in 3. And if I'm mistaken, Mr. Carr or Mayor, let me know.
What I don't know if the number in the paragraph 3 is the sum of the previous emergency authorizations plus what's listed under number 1.
Okay.
So that's a question I can't answer. Perhaps we could get the CFO on the phone to confirm that.
Suggestion maybe.
Yeah. So if council's willing to entertain that, we'll do that.
I can't speak for the CFO, but I know he wasn't feeling well, which is that reason, so I can't speak for him.
Okay,
I don't
so why don't we reach out to him and see if we can rectify this scenario?
I understand, but I would prefer that he has ample time to look at it too.
I'm just seeking his guidance, because if it says simple as, let's say in previous meetings, because I know we have done emergency authorizations. If the $5,021,531.33 tonight, coupled with those prior authorizations, equals the $8,370,000, then the resolution as presented is correct. So that's what I'm seeking to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, because it says total,
Total for
including
the
this
year.
resolution.
Right.
So what what this means is if you take the 5 million and you total it with the
prior.
prior emergency resolution, it's supposed to equal 8 million.
That's my presumption. But again, I would like to confirm that with the CFO, if that's okay.
Counselor, how do you feel on, because I'm stuck between two things right now, I'm gonna be very honest. I'd like to hear the public's opinion just as well, if they have a right to, during caucus. If we want to satisfy to get a more accurate number and let Sean make the decision of if he's available. If he's not available, we're still sitting in the same spot right now.
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking all the council opinion, sorry, that's, you know.
For tonight, I'm going to vote to table this resolution, just this resolution, because I want to be clear as to what we're actually going to be doing. And I'm not comfortable with having this approved prior to us going and not yet knowing what the numbers are going to be for the loan that we're going to be doing for the ordinance. The ordinance, if we do not pass the ordinance, then we have a deficit that is going to be gigantic.
The only response I'll make is what we're seeking is permission to go get the information that you're asking for.
Right, I'm
So if we
perfectly fine
don't-
with that, but for
If we
55,
don't obtain the permission, we can't ask.
Yeah, 62 is the enabling.
right, I'm not talking about 62, I'm talking about 55.
How are these two related?
One,
How are the emergency appropriations related to?
the one is an authorization, as we've done previously, to list an amount that we're seeking in the current fund and water and sewer fund through financing. The second is the permission to let us present that ask to the local finance board. Do I have that right, council?
Yeah, and I would think 62 is really the more important resolution at this point, because that would enable the municipality to keep that February 11th date on.
This resolution does not inhibit that February 11th date.
No, again, I think 55 just deals with the amount of appropriation, but 62, resolution 62 gives this council's approval for the administration to actually go to the local finance board and determine what type of terms will be provided.
And what you're saying, Councilman Legakis, is that if we pass this appropriation with the 3.3 before we've gone to the board.
No.
No,
What I'm saying is that I have no issue passing resolution 62. My issue is passing 55 before we get the numbers for ordinance 4. We have to pass 62 so that they can move forward. 55, if we can wait on 55 and get the information done correctly and make sure that we have all of the information in there right, then we vote on that at the next meeting. And we will also have the numbers that they need to get. Am I right on that?
it's like putting the cart before the horse.
Absolutely.
So 62, in my opinion, we have to vote on 62
Yes.
to move it forward.
Oh, Mr. Carr stepped out to see if CFO Kemp is available to speak to 55, but I understand your reasoning. And obviously the will of the council.
Okay, Councilman Crane, are you have some things?
You said it. I don't have to re-say it.
Councilman Sealy? Sure. Councilman Schwartz, Councilwoman Schwartz?
What?
Any other additional comments? For me, regardless what CFO comes back with, I understand typo and math, this and that, and need a little more time on it. But 62 only as exploratory. No signed agreements, you're gonna come back. Administration will come back to us and tell us, here's what we got.
The authorization that we would get from LFB is to go out into the market to get the financing. We can't do that without you. So if you want to call it exploratory, I can't question your terminology.
Well, it's still subject to an approval of an ordinance, which
Right.
which would occur on February 23rd.
Correct. Okay, any other comments? Okay. Very good. Let me get my, thank you so much.
Make a motion to open to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Let me read my paper, pardon me, one moment. Now, the other one for the. Mr. Legakis, thank you so much, Councilman. Thank you, sir. The public comment portion of the Spotswood Borough Council meeting is to allow the public to bring to council's attention their concerns or comments in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A, as well as Spotswood Borough Ordinances 2-18 and 2-19, except upon consent of the council president. Each person addressing the council in the case of a resolution shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes, and in the case of an ordinance shall limit their remarks to 5 minutes total for the meeting. No person shall direct any remark or question to any specific council member except by permission of the council president. Any council member through the council president may choose to answer a question, but they are not obligated to do so. All persons wishing to address the council shall do so from the podium or other location specified by the council president. Each person addressing the council must identify themselves by name and address. If said person is representing a business or organization, they shall further state whether their comments are their personal view or those of the group they represent.
Diane Charles with 29 Old State Road. I have a really big question. These resolutions I've had for over a week, because they were on the agenda for the 26th. Do you guys not talk to each other to get all this kind of stuff squared away before we sit out here? Because you've just wasted an hour. This is ridiculous. Why weren't those numbers correct in the first place?
So we do talk to each other, Diane.
Evidently not enough.
And the BA just came back from speaking to the CFO about 2026-55. Like,
Yes, the resolution, Council President, those numbers as presented in 55 are accurate to the penny. They're cumulative. If you remember during the reorganization meeting, the council passed a funding resolution associated with the 26% of the budget from last year as a temporary appropriation to fund the budget as we move forward, and these numbers are cumulative. This tonight's resolution are funding plus what we did before. But I had to confirm that, that's why I went upstairs.
So you say,
So those numbers on number 55 are accurate to the penny, because it's a cumulative total for emergency appropriations as required. I believe Councilwoman Schwartz mentioned the total term. So it's the 5 million plus what we did before.
Okay, resolution 2026-41 and 2026-42. Why did you repeat those? They were passed on the 26th as resolution 2026-39 and 2026-40.
So they were renumbered. They were
Yes.
they were originally.
They were originally passed on the 26th, a week ago tonight.
in the virtual meeting a week ago
Yes.
tonight, they were renumbered. What was passed a week ago were 2 resolutions related to our new healthcare program.
That's all we did.
So you might have an old agenda.
No, I have the resolutions right here.
this was a snowstorm, we only had to come in for the healthcare, so everything else was not heard last Monday evening.
Okay. Let's do bill list bingo, shall we? Something we all enjoy. Okay. Page 1. Interaction Insight Court. New server and recording device for where?
Which number is that, please?
25-01360. It's the fourth one from the top on page 1.
Police department. It's to record the phone system for the police department.
For the
So
police department?
our IT manager has just informed us, thank you, Tim, that it's a new server to record communications with the police department. It's part of a bigger project that is wrapping up in about a week or so. And Tim's very excited about that. Where we've redone our network throughout the borough.
Okay, down at the bottom of the page, like third or fourth from the bottom, Greenbaum Road, Smith and Davis, legal fees, $3,990. For what?
That's our portion of the mediation costs for our litigation from last year.
Litigation for what?
Chief Corbett,
Okay,
we split the cost,
okay,
and that's our half.
okay. Page 2. A reimbursement in the middle of the column, or the middle of the page for Jack Eichenlaub for $671 and change. Is that for the cultural?
Yes.
What I thought. All right. Okay. Towards the bottom, Rutgers, the State University Multiple Finance Course class, who went?
That guy.
Anthony. Okay,
And he passed.
yay, team, good job, all right. Okay, the bottom of the, further down that page, the encumbrance for the school levy. It- Oh, what is that for?
So,
Sorry,
no,
it's their monthly payment.
Their monthly, our monthly payment to them?
Correct.
Okay. For,
February.
okay. Over on the back page, page 3, Kim Karasevich, I guess that's how you say her name, $32.95, reimbursement for what?
53.
Yeah, I see. See if he got. Cannot remember, but I'll send you an email in the morning.
Okay,
I don't want to be too big pile here, keep everybody up.
that's a good idea. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Jennifer Santa Marco, 15 of this court. I guess I had a question about ordinance 62 that you guys were talking about. I actually have a lot of questions, but I guess I'll wait until the later portion to ask about everything else. While listening to you guys, is there any way to avoid getting a loan at all? Moving funds around to try to wait for the insurance monies to come in, to try to find this money, to do the other things that I've talked about, going after the banks, possibly going after, again, this is from stuff that I'm gonna ask later, but did we have a security, cybersecurity with the Board of Ed? And if we have cybersecurity with the Board of Ed and it fails, are they not responsible for it? Is that fun?
No, that's a good question, Randy, that's a very good question.
So I'll take a crack at part of that. So it's about a $14.5 million budget last year. And we're obviously at the end of the year, even though we're in calendar 26, there's carryover where we're still spending 25 money. I wish we had an extra $3.29 million. because we would have wrote him a check already for that, but we don't. So there's no money we can move around.
From any other departments or anything like that. I'm not sure how that would work if we're able to do things like that.
So we don't have it to move it. Okay, and we are pursuing our recoveries in a variety of ways. But unfortunately, we have to go borrow it to make them whole. And then the monies will come in. We're pursuing all of those things constantly ongoing. And we just don't have the cash flow. It's not like there's a checking account, Jen, where we've got, 5 million, and then as bills comes in, we pay them down. It's pretty much as you pay your taxes, the money comes in, the money goes out.
Certainly. We're getting a car for the police department. I'm not saying like let's take from everybody, but
Right.
would we be able to do that in the answer, but I don't know how that works between.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do that.
That was the one question that I had, and then you were talking about how we need to pay them because the Board of Ed could basically come after us.
So,
If that's not the right words, I don't know, but if the Board of Ed could, I guess, sue the township for the money, is that what you were saying?
I don't want to speak for the Board of Ed.
Okay, but if that's.
But our interpretation, and council can stop me if I say something inappropriate. We believe we have both a moral and a statutory obligation. We, as the tax collector for the town, take all of our money as taxpayers, and then we apportion it. Some to the county, some to the library, some to the school district, some for our own operations. They got hacked, we got spoofed, the money got stolen. We feel we have an obligation both morally and by statute to make that right. So that's what we're seeking to do.
My concern is that if it's the Board of Ed that was hacked, shouldn't they be more responsible for the fact that they were hacked? They didn't have the systems in place to protect their emails, and why is it now only taxpayers?
Well, I can't speak for the Board of Ed, but I would say it's all one taxpayer anyway. So let's say in a different scenario, it had nothing to do with us. And they lost $3.293 million. They would have to do exactly what we're asking to do,
Maybe go through.
go borrow the money.
They still borrow it the same way you are having to go through.
I can't speak for their financing arrangements, but I can tell you as a taxpayer, we collect the school levy. So if they had to go out in the marketplace and borrow significant sums of money, you and I are gonna pay for it anyway.
Maybe they.
There's no,
Borrow. Like it, their,
there's only one marketplace. I don't want to speak for them, but I don't think they have better terms available to them. If they do, Dan, I'm looking at you. Let me know.
that's what I'm saying is maybe they could have better terms, maybe they could put their feelers out there too. They might not even need, council permission, I don't know how.
Well, no, that's,
How does the board?
that is not accurate, okay?
That's what I'm saying, maybe.
Okay. No, it doesn't work that way, and I agree with the mayor. We're all one entity when it comes to this.
So.
They're not a separate entity. They're funded by the tax dollars that we collect. They set their budget every year, and then we're obligated to fund that budget. So no, it's not a question of them having better terms anywhere else to borrow the money. The money ultimately has to be raised, all right? And obviously, the municipality has the better capability to do that than the school board.
That's what I'm wondering, who has.
You don't have to wonder, I'm telling you,
There
okay?
you go, you got the answer.
I gave you the answer, okay?
One last thing about that though, with the school board, would the unions be able to get involved with that?
In what sense?
I guess it's really teacher unions, that wouldn't help.
What does a teacher union have to do?
No, I know, I just thought of that, that was the
Okay.
wrong thing.
Okay,
That's it,
all
then.
right,
For now, I'll be back.
thank you.
Thank you.
Council President, if I may,
Yes.
Diane, Kim used her own money when she was at Easy Pass, trying to clean up our account. She called me while she was there trying to clean up our accounts,
Okay,
and she submitted reimbursement for that.
got it.
And Jack paid for the cultural and heritage dinner.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Colleen Ronco, Manalapan Road. A couple of things. That whole talk that we just had about resolution. What was the money? Was it 55?
55.
So does that mean we're gonna have a deficit if we, with that portion of the money? Cause I know that it was said that there was gonna be a deficit of some sort. If that amount was accurate.
I'm not aware of a deficit. What we're seeking there is, as we did previously at the reorg, we're seeking emergency authorization. It's a budgeting device that we have to do. And part of it now includes the 3.3 million if we go forward with that arrangement.
Is there any surplus left or is that all gone? I mean, at one point we had like $2.7 million surplus.
I can't speak to that. I know when I took office last January, we had some surplus which we rolled into the budget, but then we had what ultimately became almost $1.9 million shortfall because of some of the actions of the prior administration. And I think we talked about that in the budget presentation I did last year.
So I just want people to understand that everybody here at some point or another has purchased a house or a car with a term on your house or your car payment. So if you take out 60-month loan for $1,000 a month for a car, you're paying $60,000. That's including your interest and your principal on your loan. At the end of your loan, you now have a car and you now have no more payments. Bonding out $3.3 million for 15 years. You know what's gonna happen in 15 years? Or however many years it's gonna be? That money's just gonna get rolled back over into the budget and we're forever paying for that $3.3 million. Forever. Now, if we have to do what you said, and the calculations that you came up with, which I believe you said was like $1,200.
In 1 year.
Okay, but that's $1,200 just for that 3.3 million. You're now gonna have 1.5 times that for your escrow. You're now gonna have your regular tax increase for the town. You're gonna have your tax increase for the school, and you're gonna have your county tax increase. So based on my accounting and what I've done for years, is basically everybody's taxes are gonna go up $4,800 with all of that included. And you're gonna have an increase in your monthly mortgage on average of $400. That's on average. That's on a low mortgage. That's not on these poor people that have taken out their mortgages at 8% and paid $500,000 for their houses, or $600,000 or $700,000 or $800,000. So although it doesn't look like, oh, it's $1,200 or it's $100, the thing is that if you roll that over into a bond, we are forever paying for that, forever. It's not like at the end of 15 years, you're gonna turn around and go, oh, you know what? We no longer have to pay that $200 a month. Here's your $200 a month back. We're gonna give you a refund. You know, I know, they know, that's not the way that this works. So you have a forever loan on a car that is now in the car lot being squished by one of those big machines 30 years down the road because we're going to bond out all this money. My next question is, who is being held responsible for this? We still haven't gotten an answer on that lovely little tidbit of information. We know that we're missing the money. We know that we got some of it back. We know that we could or could not potentially get additional insurance or whatever. All of this is one big giant question. It was like that, with that science guy, he used to walk around New York City and bring out the, no, it was another one, with all the question marks all over him. That's exactly what this is. No, there's no answers here. There's no answers. It's, if this happens, we could do this, it could be that amount, it could be this amount of years, we could be bonding, we could be borrowing. That's all it is. It's just a big bunch of questions. So that $1,200 is not $1,200. It's $4,800. And that's on an average $500,000 home. That's an average increase of $400. That's not including the increase in your tax, the increase in your insurance, and whatever else is gonna go on. I mean, it's incredible that nobody's held responsible for this yet. we still have people here that were involved in this, whether it was purposefully, not purposefully, by mistake, because they were incompetent, because they were negligent, whatever. And nobody's being held responsible for it. Nobody. I might be able to wrap my head around this a little bit better if we said, hey, you know what, we're gonna fire A, B, and C because they didn't do their job. We're not doing that. And now A, B, and C still have a job. A, B, and C are still making six figures, but now everybody behind me, all you, are all gonna have to come up with an extra X amount of dollars per month in their taxes to pay for A, B, and C's mistake. A, B, and C don't care. A, B, and C don't live in town. And my other concern is too, is that like, Spotswood's the one that's getting hit with all the taxes for all of this. What happens with Helmet and Milltown? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but those kids go to our schools. And we're already paying 75% of Helmet's kids to go to school here. I mean, so they get none of the burden. They continue to send their kids here at a lower amount. So we're gonna be paying, let's say, you know, for the sake of argument, $10,000 a child a year to educate them, which I know is a low number, and they're paying $1,000 because we have somebody that didn't know how to send a wire transfer or didn't care or is involved. We don't know. I mean, where are we with, you know, prosecutor's office, FBI investigations? I mean, do we have anything on that, or are we just kind of sitting around waiting for that to go away?
No, we're not sitting around. I think I mentioned at the last council meeting in January that when I came here tonight, I would report to the public what's going on with the prosecutor's office. Last Wednesday, I met with new Middlesex County Prosecutor Linda Estromera and the Chief of Detectives. The investigation, I met him in person, by the way, in New Brunswick. The investigation is ongoing. I continue to talk to them on a weekly basis. And I'm hoping when I come back, maybe at the end of this month, or at least in March, I will have something more concrete to tell you. I am privy to certain information. However, it is incredibly sensitive and incredibly confidential, and I cannot disclose it at this time.
Watch it too, Larry.
Okay?
Just asking where we're at. I appreciate it, thank you.
Very well, thank you. Anyone else?
This is names.
Edward J. Smith, 395 Old Stage Road, Spotswood, New Jersey. I have a question. I always thought that a short-term loan was less than a year. And anything over a year was considered long-term. Why are you saying that the short-term loan is from 1 to 3 years?
I mean, that's my terminology. I got that from some of the interaction with local finance and bond counsel. If I'm using the term incorrectly.
No, I'm just, what I'm saying is.
I was trying to distinguish from a 10 or 15-year bond.
Right, exactly. No, I just wondered where that came from, because my understanding was short term is less than a year, and long term is more than a year. No, okay. The other thing was, you talked about spending, and I don't want to get into any departments, but I see on the bill list, there was something for a new ambulance for like $260,000. And also no, and a new police vehicle under the resolutions for like 3 something. Okay, can't we defer that maybe?
So
I mean, that's $500,000.
the ambulance request was last year. You're seeing it on the bills list now because we have to pay it. It's actually an ambulance. We bought that. So the rig, we have a rig that is at the end of its useful life. We have to take it out of the fleet. So the ambulance was a lower cost option. And you've seen it on the bills list now because now we're paying
Right, because
for
we're
it.
paying for it now.
I don't think we're buying 300,000 in police vehicles.
I thought there was one resolution, I'll be honest with you, I forget the exact number, but
Sure.
it was a hefty number.
Yeah, the good news with the police purchases is we've made significant use of the forfeiture funds because we have an officer that is part of the task force. When they forfeit proceeds from their investigations, some of that money comes back to the borough. It's held in trust. And a lot of these, all of these vehicle and equipment purchases that you see of significant dollar amount are reimbursed by that fund. So it doesn't come out of the
Okay, so.
operating
Right,
budget.
it's not coming out of our operation. Okay, I was thinking, I'm just looking at these numbers, I'm saying.
Right.
Okay, here's the money we may be able to save. Okay, thank you.
Always welcome, thank you.
Right.
Chelsea Frank Rivera. I'm just wondering, why did we put the council in a position to rush all of these decisions? So this money went missing in October. We realized the money was missing in October. Can't believe that any reasonable person would have expected us to get most of this money back in any sort of short time frame, just because of how things work. So we could have started working on this bond and loan thing, if that's what we need to do. And yes, I understand we need to get the school the money. We could have started working on this in November, even January. But yet here we are in February, forcing them to say yes, making this decision because you have to go to the bond council on February 11th. And I understand all the timelines. But why? Why isn't anybody thinking ahead, forward thinking?
You're all looking at me, so I'm gonna answer the question. We've been working on it throughout. We've been in constant contact and we've had various meetings, which going back to the date of this event that council presidents have attended with myself and members of the board of ed and the superintendent. So it's been in dialogue from the very beginning. We asked for help from Senator Henry's office and ultimately the commissioner of the Department of Education back in November. And I don't know what to say other than the wheels of government turn slowly.
Very slowly.
So-
I'm sure this.
Well, we've
Mexico.
been working on it. We got bond counsel involved in December, once it became apparent that, the state wasn't gonna ride to our rescue as quick as we might have liked. And also parallel at the same time, we've been working with our risk manager and our insurance companies, and they marched to their own drum. So there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. We're at the point now where the timing of this is critical for the school district. So what we're trying to do is get this done. And those other recoveries that I mentioned earlier will catch up. So that's kind of where it is.
Town is really great for chasing its tail.
Yeah.
I mean, it not just your administration, but the previous administration and every administration since I've been sitting in here and I've been coming to these meetings for 20 years. We really need to get better at planning ahead. Like, it's a thing. Okay, you all have worked in the business world. It's a thing. Plan ahead, think ahead. And so we could just stop chasing our tails. We will never get ahead of the game if we don't.
Anyone else?
I would just like to clarify the order when we collect taxes for the general public. The Board of Education has to get paid. The county has to get paid, the open fund account has to be paid, and the balance is left for what the township or the borough to do with whatever money's left. Okay, and if there's a shortfall, they're responsible for making that shortfall up. So it's not like we cannot pay the county or the, the different organizations and groups that I just mentioned, but this is just for the general public, and that's all stated by law. Okay, just so that they're not hearing it from you, they're hearing it from someone from the public that also knows how it works. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Make a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to adjourn the caucus meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Five-minute break?
10:00.
8-minute break.
Gotcha.
I have suspicions.
Yeah, exactly.
Regular meeting. This meeting was called for Monday, February 2nd, 2026 at 7:30 PM at Borough Hall located at 77 Summerhill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey, pursuant to the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-8B. The public may choose to attend this meeting electronically via Zoom. This meeting was advertised on the Spotswood website and in the Home News Tribune. Salute to the flag, everybody, please. United States of America. This is the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Larry Kramer,
Here.
Councilman Nicholas Legakis,
Here.
Councilwoman Dawn Schwartz,
Here.
Councilman Ed Seeley,
Here.
Council President Andrew Zaborni,
Here.
Mayor Rich O'Brien.
Here. We have minutes to approve. Listen.
I'm gonna take these each separately. I'm going to ask for a motion second, and this is gonna be followed by roll call. First up is December 15, 2025. This is a caucus and regular meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from December 15th, 2025, both caucus and regular meeting.
Seconded.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Zaborni.
Yes.
Next up is January 5th, 2026, the reorganization meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the January 5th, 2026 reorganization meeting.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Zaborni.
Yes.
Next up is January 26th, 2026. That's the caucus and regular meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes for January 26th, 2026 caucus and regular meeting.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Zaborni.
Yes. All right, we have ordinance for a second reading and public hearing and adoption for tonight, 2026-01.
Correct. This is the calendar year 2026 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank NJSA 48:4-45.14. I'll take a motion in a second to open to public hearing, and then I'll do an all in favor.
Motion to open public hearing is ordinance 2026-01.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will now take a motion second, and this will be followed by roll call to adopt ordinance 2026-01.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 2026-01 on second reading.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Zaborni.
Yes.
Next up is ordinance 2026-02. The public hearing for this is scheduled for February 23rd, 2026. I will take a motion second, and this will be followed by roll call.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 2026-02 on first reading.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Zaborni.
Yes.
Next is ordinance 2026-03. The public hearing is scheduled for February 23rd, 2026. An ordinance amending and supplementing the salary ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood entitled an amendment to the ordinance fixing and establishing the salaries and wages of certain non-bargaining unit employees of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. I'll take a motion second, and this will be followed by roll call.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 2026-03 on first reading.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Seeley,
No.
Zaborni.
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-04. The public hearing for this is scheduled for February 23rd, 2026. Refunding ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, providing for the refunding of all or a portion of a temporary emergency appropriation of the borough, appropriating a combined amount not to exceed $3.4 million, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $3.4 million amount of general obligation refunding bonds and or notes of the Borough of Spotswood for financing the cost thereof. I will take a motion, second, and this will be followed by roll call.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 2026-04 on first reading.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Sealy.
I'd like to make a statement for my vote. I'm only gonna say this time, not during the second reading, when it comes up next month. I wish to make the following statement. It's an opinion, by the way. In my years of office so far, this has undoubtedly been the hardest decision I've ever had to make. A decision that's going to affect every taxpayer in our borough, and unfortunately, it must be made due to someone's negligence and lack of due diligence, which we've heard several times tonight. The simple fact is that funds are owed and never received, and unfortunately, we must make good on it. I'm sorry. I'm a yes.
And Zaborni.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is the resolutions under consent agenda. Does any member of the governing body want to pull any of the resolutions before you vote on them all together under consent agenda?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to pull resolution 2026-55.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Sealy,
Yes.
Zaborni.
Yes.
Any other resolution? Okay, I will take a motion, second, and this is going to be followed by roll call for resolutions 2026-41 through 2026-54 and resolution 2026-56 through resolution 2026-65.
Make a motion to accept resolution 2026-41 through 2026-54 and 2026-56 through 2026-65.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes, but I need to abstain from two bills on the bill list, Bill 25-01823 and 26-00052.
thank you. Sealy,
Yes.
Zaborni,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. All righty. Have any comments and any updates tonight? By the way, I just want to say all the liaisons were approved, so we'll be getting fresh reports starting next month. Any comments from our council, Councilwoman Schwartz?
No, I'm just excited to continue my liaison term with the Division of Senior Services and the library, and I am very excited to be back with the Recreation Department this year.
Councilman Sealy?
Well, let's see. Engineering, he did his report, so I have to do that part. Grants, the only grant I see going on that I've heard of is the recreation program grant that was on tonight's resolution list, number 53. Other news is I volunteered to go to New Brunswick and represent the borough in the water situation. Well, it turns out it doesn't have as much to do with flooding as we'd like to think.
Oh, dang.
It has more to do with clean water and resources, which I'm glad to see tonight. There was an ordinance on 2026-02 that was only due in 2024. So something else that was dropped by the past administration.
Shocking.
Unfortunately, we're in good company. There was 9 other people who also didn't turn in theirs. They did assure me that very shortly they would be putting something together for South Jersey area, Mid-South Jersey, which were included, one of 9 towns, to talk about that. So I think that. That's all I got right now.
Councilman Clary, you said?
I met with DPW, talked to them about their needs and their wants, which I'll present at the next meeting. I haven't met with the other organizations that I meeting with the snowstorm. Occurred mutual 5 days shoveling and snow blowing and. So I haven't had a chance to get together with them yet, but I will before the next meeting.
Thank you. Councilor Getz?
Thank you, Council President. Spoke to the Spotswood Fire Department. Just want to say thank you. January 18th and 19th during the snowstorm, the fire department logged a combined over 200 hours in snow standby for our residents. This past Saturday, Council President and the mayor can talk a little bit more about the installation of the officers' dinner. So congratulations to all of those folks who were sworn in. The Spotswood Fire Department is still looking for new members to join the department. Junior members can join at age 16 and full members at age 18. No prior training or experience is necessary, and all training and equipment is paid for by the department. The Spotswood Fire Department is still selling the challenge coins to fundraise for the RJRO Scholarship Fund. Coins are $20. Spotswood Police Department, be on the lookout for transparency reports from the police department every month, as well as arrest blotters. They can be found on social media, specifically Facebook and Instagram, and will be coming out around the 5th of every month. Also, this Saturday, February 21st, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., the Spotswood PD will host coffee with the Spotswood Police Department at Duncan on Main Street. Free coffee, free donuts, 0 arrests, and no warrants required. I didn't make that up. They have that listed. And then finally, Spotswood Education Foundation, the SEF, is hosting its annual casino night on Saturday, March 7th at the Helmetta Community Center from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. $75 per person, includes $150 in play money, dinner, dessert, music, and gaming. Contact the SEF at njsef@yahoo.com. Thank you.
Can I add something for the fire department? They are doing the football pool for RJ as well. So if you're looking for boxes, please check online for that. I saw that the other day as well. Money's raised for his scholarship fund.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. So a couple of cool things recently, got to go on a bus trip with the Recreation Department to see the Devils up at Rock. And as a Rangers fan, it was horrifying. But we went, and a nice job by the Rec Department. Councilman Legakis, you were supposed to be there as well, right?
Absolutely not. I don't go to Devil games.
You mentioned the fireman's dinner. I had the privilege of attending that Saturday night. They do a great job. It's a great event. Council President and I got to help swear in the new folks, and it's a pretty cool thing. So I thank you guys for that. I especially want to thank our Office of Emergency Management Coordinator, Mr. Jose Rivera, who I've spent more time with this weekend. Almost as much as Dulce at this point. I got more. So Jose does an incredible job. We've had a number of water main breaks. We've had some homeless issues. We've had obviously code blue scenario with the freezing temperatures. The council president and I and Jose and our deputy coordinator, John Schwartz, and the cops were all over at Brookview. I don't know if you've been following the issues over there. They've had broken pipe, which affected their steam water distribution center system for heat. So we've been trying to help out where we could, and Jose spearheads all of those efforts. He, within a half an hour, arranged for potential sheltering at Immaculate Conception. It's incredible the number of contacts he has, his ability to just make things happen. So I thank you for all of that, sir. I appreciate it. And the last thing I want to say, the councilman mentioned the police monthly report. And so I want to highlight some of their activities in the month of January, real briefly. 191 motor vehicle stops, Unfortunately, they had to respond to 21 motor vehicle accidents. They issued about 300 and change in terms of tickets. Luckily, no DWIs. 826 calls for service. This is just in January. They generated 123 reports and 11 people got arrested. There's a lot of work that goes on. I know sometimes we hear comments about their cars and their equipment and all those things. But they're out there protecting our community, and I thank them for it. Thank you, Council President.
Very welcome. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Carr, Carr?
No, sir. We're basically working on the transition to our healthcare benefits for our employees. I had a seminar in this room here last Wednesday for the employees. Have another one scheduled on the 9th. Looking forward to the transition, providing the employees their healthcare. Of course, as I mentioned previously, we're spending a lot of time on the local finance board application. And today I spent probably 4 hours revamping the banner application to try to get that into fruition this year. We're taking the applications, but we have to jump through significant hoops with JCP&L, as you can imagine, and through Con Energy, their parent company, before that happens.
Thank you so much. Clerk's office, Melissa?
Thank you. Yes. From pause to paperwork, we have news to share. Pet licenses are in, we're almost there. Free rabies clinic, February 21st, 9 to noon out back. Public notice is now online by law, so we're right on track. And new to note, a change that's grand, the clerk's office can now marry residents across the borough land. Thank you.
Are you gonna wrap the ceremonies still? I'm not gonna ever do a wedding again. She's gonna get one.
Very clever. All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you for all both of you do as well. So for my update, I also it was really very nice to join in at the fire department dinner and to see. I've always heard about it, and it was a great honor to sit at the table with the mayor and also to do the Pledge of Allegiance to open up the event. And it's nice to see. I think I counted about maybe 8 or more were my former students. So it's a really great honor to see them there just as well, and families. So thank you for the invite and for all that they do as well. And Jose did reach out to me yesterday and went over to Brookview and assisted where I can. He's been really fantastic keeping me updated as well. So I appreciate that. And thank you for all you do as well. I'll be responsible for BOE, for Board of Education. Looking forward to continue our partnership and communications. I'll be looking, this is really nice for me, EMS. And as well as OEM. So some new areas for myself. I always like to kind of spread myself across the community and different areas to oversee. So thank you, and I look forward to partnering. So be safe out there. It looks like it's getting a little warmer out, and thank you so much. I'm very proud to serve in this capacity. So thank you. I'd like to make a motion to open to the public.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nancy Fridello, 34 Pelonia Street. With the new year, Spotswood TNR will be in its 2nd year running. I want to thank all the residents that have donated, take the time to notify us for cats that need TNR or if medical attention is needed with approval of the program. I have met many residents with the trap-in, and it has been a pleasure meeting with them as they keep in touch with me. With your help, the program's success depends on these TNR, these cats, and stopping the continuous cycle, which will take place if not done. Eileen has played a great part in our progress as well as replying if need to. We both keep the residents informed with education and information with the cat community. With 2026, I hope we have the residents notify us so I can trap and stop the cycle before any more are born to the hardships that they endure. Thank you, Mayor Rich O'Brien and the administration, as well as East Brunswick Animal Hospital for your support in Spotswood TNR and another successful year. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you.
All right, Jennifer San Marco, 14 Nicholas Court. All right, I came up with my big list now. You already answered some of it, so it should be a little bit quicker. You gave us an update on the investigation. I know it's not finished yet, but is there any, timeframe, do you think, for when it's going to be finished?
Well, the answer is no, I don't have a time frame. If the investigation was completed, then we would probably not be looking at securing or recovering any additional funds. So the fact that the investigation is ongoing is a promising situation.
Okay. Is the pending status going to delay anything with the insurance companies?
I don't know what the insurance company's position will be. It might, because they may want to see a completed investigation, but, you know, we're obviously in constant communication with our risk managers and, you know, we hope to resolve that.
What's going on with the insurance companies? 'Cause
Well, that's our risk manager is dealing with the
Okay.
insurance companies.
He's dealing with it, but
Yeah.
are they giving us a hard time on it? Because
No,
it sounds like they were.
No, there's, again, there hasn't been there has not been a conclusion yet by the insurance company.
Sorry, I have to write them. Was the cyber investigation separate or was that all part of the same investigation?
Well, that was called for by the insurance company.
Do we have any information on that yet?
We have a report which indicated that our cybersecurity systems are satisfactory at the present time.
It indicated that
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
satisfactory now,
Correct.
so. And that's after we implemented things, right?
I can't answer that. That's something probably the administration would have to answer, but.
Well, I mean, I read it was on the list.
So we, through the insurance company, commissioned a review. I think a little prior to that, the Board of Education also conducted a review. We learned that there was no personally identifiable information lost, which was very important to us. We also learned that they were not resident in our systems. They were not still within our firewalls. And then we implemented some additional things to increase our security on that side of the aisle. I think both entities have been engaged in a lot of cyber training for their employees. And so that's an ongoing thing. And, you know, to the extent that we can, I think we've secured our systems to the best of our ability.
Sorry. Now, my next question was, so obviously we haven't recovered anything else, right? We're still at the same recovery that we were last month.
Well, we were, right,
It was the 1.2 that we stopped, and then what was it, 500 or?
no, we recovered 1.475 million shortly after the incident occurred, within a week. There's an additional 233,000 that has been frozen in an account by the Middlesex County Prosecutor, and we're waiting for them to release that.
So what happens if that money does not get recovered? That's really the scary question here. If we take out these bonds and that money never gets recovered, what happens?
You're paying it forever.
Taxpayer bill.
Yeah, well, I wanna hear them say it.
Well, I think the mayor has answered that question. I mean, I'm just the attorney, so. For policy.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I'll answer it.
Yeah, sure.
Our hope is that we will recover a significant amount of the loss. But if your question is, what happens if we don't? Then we're on the hook for it.
I just wanted to hear, I'm sorry. We talked already about the insurance claims and the state assistance. Is there anything that we can do to kind of poke them a little bit to?
I had a conversation with Senator Henry Saturday night. I urged him to continue his dialogue.
We start writing to them?
Absolutely.
Can you maybe give us a list of who we can write to, who would be the best to write to? I
Sure.
know Senator Henry, I've emailed him,
Sure, probably Assemblyman Clifton,
him and Suweki.
yeah.
But what about, sending out emails to the current administration that just took office?
So we have contact with an aide to Governor Sherrill. He's assigned to our township amongst others. And we're in touch with him. I'll give him another call and urge him to,
Can you share that with us? Can we?
I think you could reach out to the governor's office directly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
She doesn't like me, so. Let me see, what else did I write? I'm sorry. We talked at length about it. I can't ask you guys about the terms and then the interest rates yet. That's gonna be next month, right? Or at the end of this month? Let's see. When the Board of Ed emails were hacked, I started talking about this before. Were there safeguards? Like, were there, security systems in place?
I don't want to speak for the Board of Ed. Their
Oh,
next meeting is coming up a week from tomorrow.
So we would have to go to the Board of Ed to ask.
If you want to ask that specific question, I can tell you from past experience, they have cybersecurity. Most companies, entities, municipalities and otherwise do, but social engineering being what it is, those systems sometimes get defeated.
If the systems get defeated though, is there an insurance policy there?
You'd have to ask them.
Yeah, okay. I want you to ask them for me.
I continue to speak to the superintendent and board president regularly, identically.
You can ask them.
And don't assume that I haven't.
Okay, all right. We talked about the training. We said that has all the training been completed?
We did an initial round of training. There's additional training. I think we're going monthly, Tim. And then we've got some other steps that I don't want to detail that we're taking to keep this prominent in the minds of all our employees.
Now I want to get back to the bank oversight. I really want to reiterate the fact that this wire transfer, it first went down to South Jersey, if I remember correctly, and then to Ohio. Or at least somewhere out of state, when it was supposed to be transferred between accounts that were within the same town, which is a serious failure on the bank's part. Banks are explicitly trained to recognize these red flags. I mean, how many wires I had to sign off on where we looked at the state it was going to. That was a big part of it. This could have been avoided with stronger banking oversight. What steps are we taking with the bank? Have we gotten anywhere with the bank? Are we holding the bank responsible? Because I really feel like they need to be held responsible. They should have saw this, they should have seen it, said, hey, this is Spotswood to Spotswood, why is it going anywhere else? Why is it going to Ohio? Why is it going to anywhere outside of this vicinity? Not only that, it was an unusual amount. It was the first time. It's out of state. It's a high dollar amount. Are we going after them for it?
I'm not gonna speculate on that at this point, because again, there's an ongoing investigation. And I'm also not gonna tip my hand for a possible civil lawsuit by stating anything publicly.
I understand. But that is something that you're thinking about?
I've been doing this for 42 years. You could ask the question any way you want, but to give you the same answer.
I'm trying to think. So do we know if I don't know if they're gonna be able to answer that. Do we know if they did ask any questions at the bank level and did we just say, no, do it?
And I'm not sure this is the forum where we should be discussing anything having to do with a future civil lawsuit, if in fact that's in the cards.
Let me see. We talked last time about the changes that you made with the approving, right? Can you tell me, I don't know, Did the Board of Ed bank at the same place as us? As the town?
I don't believe so.
No? Okay. So that comes to my next thing. We couldn't do internal transfers then, but if we did bank at the same place, internal transfers would have been something that you can do, between two accounts. But instead of wire transfers, why didn't we consider ACHs, which are safer? You would have to do more of them because you can't do the 3.4 million at once. But you can do up to 1 million. You would have to be with the right bank. If we ever go forward, I would hope that we avoid wire transfers completely for this. But if we do have to do something,
There's a thought.
You should just swap the check across.
well, right, but they were saying the one time that, it was coming from the state, correct? That they wanted you to start doing this electronically, was that correct?
Now, what I think I said is starting back in October of 24. This dialogue between the Board of Ed and the borough about moving to electronic transfer started. When I took office, we just continued the process.
Okay.
And since this incident, we are back doing paper checks and I generally hand them to the superintendent.
Yay.
And that will be our intention and practice going forward.
Okay. And then, are we going to a different bank? Is that something that we've decided to get away from? Are you waiting for that one?
Not really, but I think that there may be an RFQ coming up at a future council meeting to solicit banking services.
I asked that resolution be placed on the agenda for the 23rd of February, consistent with what we did last fall.
So that means you're gonna look?
Yes.
Okay, so that was that, and last one.
I think you're great.
This one is the one I really don't wanna talk about. I think it's important for the public to understand that this was a genuine hack and not just an emailing spoof. But that said, this does not mean we can ignore the error, and we must do everything possible to protect the town from potential mismanagement. I know that it's been discussed at length, but why haven't the people that have been involved had their access to financial systems at least temporarily restricted? I understand the act that we had talked about. I looked everything up. I looked up all the legal constraints. But they're temporary measures such as reduced access, additional oversight, that can be implemented to protect the taxpayer funds while the investigation continues. My main concern is that if the full amount isn't recovered, some people may question whether the approvers or even the hacked individual had a role in the loss simply because their access wasn't limited. Can you clarify how the town is addressing that concern?
So in terms of additional oversight, I think I mentioned a couple meetings back, I'm now the fourth approver. Our auditor, of course, is on high alert.
Okay.
Any transaction that we make that's over a certain amount, I see them all now anyway, but I pay particular attention to the larger amounts. So we're doing those steps, continue to do that. As far as any personnel actions I might take, I can't discuss them anyway in this forum. I've said that previously, and that's still our position.
Okay, I just, like I said, I wanna make sure that that's out there. I think that if something does come, I think it would be prudent to let people know what's going on as much as you can. You know, everybody, you go on Facebook, that's the #1 issue. Why do they still have their jobs? Why do they still have access to the money? And like I said, I looked over everything. There are non-disciplinary things that are risk-based controls that we can do to keep them. And yes, I see you've done a lot of them. There's also, you could reassign duties, you could restrict system access. It's really, you do all the other ones. So I know that you've done some, but I really feel like it's important that people know that that's happening.
Yeah, I've decided probably in the second week of this administration that I wasn't gonna be responding to commentary on Facebook. That's a personal choice that I made. And I'm gonna continue that practice. I can reassure the public that is listening to this meeting and to those of you present that we are paying close attention to everything that goes on here.
You know, I feel you on that, you know what I mean, like, I believe you, I trust you on that, I just, it kills me to see it. And, I really want to put it out there that I wish everybody could know exactly what you're doing, which I know you can't, but.
Yeah, I had said, I think, Diane originally suggested putting out updates on the website. We've done a couple, and was planning to do another one this week, pending the outcome of tonight's votes. So I'll do that. Obviously, we will report again after we come back from, local finance board. We'll tell the council first, and then we'll put something out to the public. I would urge every resident, come to a meeting, call the office. I'm pretty accessible. You can find every member on this day is just about in the community all the time. And I think each of us gets stopped at ShopRite and Dunkin' and then you got a minute? Yeah, of course. It comes up a lot, but I'm not gonna respond to song parodies and other nonsense that appears on the internet. I understand it's entertainment for folks. But what we're trying to do here is resolve a seriously bad situation. No one sitting here is happy about what happened. Nobody. What we have to do is, and I think I outlined these steps early on. The first thing is to figure out what happened. That's ongoing. Do the best we can to make sure it never happens again. Make the school district whole to the extent that we can. And then minimize the fiscal damage to all of us as taxpayers. And then we'll hold people accountable when I have an investigative report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
I just have one question, baby. Diane Charles, 29 Old Stage Road. Mr. Cahill. On the website, you've done a wonderful job bringing everything up to speed, but there's not a whole lot of 2025 documents there
We need 2025 documents.
from council meetings.
We
Not
will-
that I saw.
Then we will look into it.
Okay, I mean, very sparse, like maybe 2 or 3 months are there, and that's it. So I was looking for a salary ordinance from last year and could not find it. Fortunately, it was in my thoughts, so. Thanks.
Calling on to them now. So back in April, I had heard a rumor. Heard it, I didn't really respond to it, it was a rumor and rumors have a tendency to be all kinds of all over the place. But I put it completely out of my head and didn't even think about it, till 3 weeks ago when somebody else actually messaged me from Facebook and was like, hey, did you hear? So now I heard it in April, I heard it a couple of weeks ago, so now I'm kind of piqued my interest a little bit. And then last night, I got a message from somebody else on Facebook that said, hey, have you heard? So I'm gonna bring this up. Is there $1.3 million of insurance money that is missing that we are unaware of? Board of Education, people from the teachers and parents are talking about how $1.3 million is missing and has something to do with money that was put into insurance accounts, like their personal insurance, the money that's taken out of their checks.
Are you talking about on the board side or
I'm
in the
talking
borough?
about side, supposedly it was also on the borough side and it's on the Board of Education side, it's money that's put into the, I guess, the insurance account, I don't know exactly what account, but,
I can't speak for the Board of Ed. I'm not aware of any insurance irregularities or issues with the borough. I have no knowledge of what we're talking about.
And it just struck me that 3 different times over the course of like the last 10 months, somebody said something and I was like, ooh, maybe there is something to, or maybe it's just the same thing. Somebody said something to me 10 months ago and now it's gone to everybody else. You know, this is what that person was talking to, but I just needed to ask. The other thing is, I don't know, who knows if you know, if you watched the lawsuit today from the appellate division. Regarding the unfortunate incident that we had with the previous mayor and, one of the homeless residents. My question is, why is Spotswood still defending this lawsuit?
I think I can answer that. Okay. That's a determination made by the insurance company. So that was before, obviously, this administration came in. The appeal was filed by Gannett, so the determination in the Superior Court in Middlesex County was in favor of former Mayor Palmer's lawsuit to block the release of that video. Gannett decided to file the appeal, and obviously Statewide Insurance Company is the one who determined that they were gonna defend that appeal, and that's why.
Okay, but we can drop out of that, can't we?
Uh,
I mean,
well-
we could technically say, you know what, we're not interested in doing this anymore, screw it, why are we still paying?
I mean, at this point, well, I think.
Well, let's put it this way, okay, I was there today, I sat in the back of the courtroom, I got the lovely interpretations of everything that went on, sat there for the entire hour and 20 minutes and got to speak to the attorneys afterwards. I can assure you that no matter which way this decision goes, whether it's in favor of Gannett or whether it's in favor of Middlesex County or the Spotswood, it's being appealed.
Yeah, well, all right, so.
Either way,
if-
it doesn't matter, it's being appealed.
I understand. If Gannett is successful and prevails in that lawsuit, that's a serious discussion that the borough would have to have with Statewide, whether or not they would want to then appeal that to the New Jersey Supreme Court.
Okay. Right, and more money.
Yeah, I mean,
I
obviously, I
understand
would
that.
not want to see more money spent
Right,
on,
I mean, I
I'm
kind of get
pursuing
that,
that
if that loses and they appeal that. You're joined in the lawsuit, but I mean, even at that point, Spotswood could turn around and go, hey, we're not gonna do it, you know, like, whatever. I just think that we're continuing to pay. Miss Flynn's associates for, did I do that good?
Yes, you did,
Miss Flynn's associates, for a lawsuit that we all knew was a bunch of crap.
point
Yeah.
taken.
So I just wanted to kind of bring that in to the thing. Where do we stand on the DCA information that I brought up about the retirements and the fact that,
So, for the benefit of the rest of the audience, Colleen had previously mentioned a concern about whether people were properly enrolled in DCRP, Deferred Compensation Retirement Program. I think that's what you're referring to, right? So we tasked, the CFO with a review. It's ongoing. We also were in contact with, DCA. So I don't have an answer on that one yet. But when we do, we'll disclose it.
thank you. One other thing, so I saw last night, as you guys mentioned earlier, all the crap that's going on with Brookview and the no heat and it's, 7 degrees outside and it's cold. So because I have nothing better to do at 3 AM because I don't sleep. I went perusing around the internet and I found something that I found was kind of interesting. So according to it's NJSA 26:3-1, every municipality in the state is supposed to have a board of health. Not just somebody from the county as a liaison, but an actual board of health. We don't have that. We don't have a board of health. There's nobody to call in the town. And trying to get through to the person that used to be the liaison, I don't know if she still is or not, was next to impossible. I could beat my head against the wall, I would have gotten a better response. But, so it says, relevant statute, NJSA 26:3-1 requires every municipality to have a local board of health. In certain cases, including under the Faulkner Act for some municipal forms of government or per recent amendments, allowing governing bodies and municipalities with populations of 30,000 or less to serve as the Board of Health. The town council or governing body can act as the Board of Health if no separate board is appointed. So congratulations, we need to have a board of health and you get to be it.
I can respond so much.
Your nurse's cap will be forthcoming.
That may be the law, but the reality is that most municipalities defer to the county when it comes time to.
Right, but if you read this, Larry, and I'll be more than happy to
I
send it
agree
to
with
you,
you.
is that it says every town has to have a board of health.
Right.
You don't have to, you have to have one meeting, it's not like you have to have a meeting every week, you can have a meeting a quarter. But I think in a situation like we have at Brookview, if we actually had a board of health, because there's also other apartment buildings where we have issues. We have mold issues in some apartment buildings, we have other issues in other apartment buildings. I think if there was somebody and a board of health that those people could literally come to and say, hey, listen, I live over in Brookview and for, 16 days out of last month, we didn't have heat, or for 16 days, my water was brown. Then you have somebody that can physically go to the Board of Health in Middlesex County and kind of be the liaison and fix the situation. Not that I want to put any more work on you lovely individuals, but if I have to stay up at 3 o'clock in the morning to look this up.
So I'd like to add to that if I can. I'm over here. Samantha is the Middlesex County Health person. She actually has an office here now. She's here a couple days a week. The BA and myself receive complaints similar to what you're describing. Heat, vermin, other issues, they all get referred to her. She was on scene at Brookview. Jose and the council president and I were talking with Code, our construction official, Frank, and John Kozik Austin, our fire marshal. One of the interesting wrinkles with Brookview is it's a private entity, it's a condo association. They have a homeowners association. So that kind of threw another wrinkle into it. But Jose's been in constant contact with Chris, the property manager. We've been on scene, he's been on scene today as well. So I would invite anyone that has concerns of this type.
I agree that you guys have done a great job with this. I did see the comments last night and people were, commenting today.
Yeah,
But-
they're grateful.
There is a statutory requirement that we have a board of health.
Well, that I'm gonna defer to council, but I want to reassure the council members that we do get health complaints. We do have someone who's physically domiciled here now. And we try and react to all of that. It's unfortunate and obviously so exaggerated and worsened by the weather. So I was real happy when it got up to 35 today. But, we don't take it lightly. It just became an issue in part because it's a private entity. Jose, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, the issue with the Brookview is that it's a private entity and a lot of the people there are owners of the condos. And we can't make them to go to shelters or anything like that. They have to ask for the help. We had everything ready to be open. Not one person called,
Wow.
not
No,
one.
I understand, and I'm not
And-
disputing, Jose's always been great and stuff like that, so I'm not disputing any of that. But when I was digging around just to see what kind of relief they could get is when I came across this, and I know Hamilton had to do that, because when I was involved with the Hamilton shelter, they didn't have a board of health. And their town council actually had to be the board of health, which is what triggered me last night when this was all going on to go looking for this stuff on the internet, so.
What's the citation? You said it was 26?
It's NJSA 26:3-1.
Okay.
And then there's also NJSA 40:69A-1. And then it just says subject to the Open Public Meetings Act. So I just
I'll look
wanted
into it.
to do that. My last concern here is, I brought this up many times, I beat my head against the wall, I'm gonna beat my head some more. One of these days, I'll beat my head enough where my friends will be scrambled and I won't be doing this anymore. But unfortunately, for 3 years now, I've mentioned on and on and on and on and on about the animal control issue in this town and the fact that we have police officers that are picking up animals that are not trained to do so. If I'm a CPA, I have to have a license. Mr. Sachs has to have a license in order to practice law. Mr. Carr has to have some kind of a certification or something to be a BA. The police in this town are not certified animal control officers. I need to give this to somebody. Council President? Sure. This is a notice of tort. Ladies and gentlemen, I am suing the town of Spotswood for inadequate and insufficient animal control. 3 years of screaming from here is now going to turn into a lawsuit. You have 6 months in which to rectify the situation and in which I go away. Otherwise, I'm going to spend every last dime I have to make sure that the animals in this town are protected correctly and that we are not blowing through money that we should be spending on animal control. The police in this town are not sufficient animal control officers. So either find somebody that can come in and can do it on a per call basis or get animal control, but there's gonna be no more holding animals for 2 hours. Somebody's gonna get bit, somebody's gonna get mauled, I've said it again and again. You're gonna have somebody go out and get bit by a rabid raccoon. First animal control call I took in this town was a rabid raccoon. Z knows because I put a nice notice on his door. So we need to do something. I'm gonna sue you. And there's already a setting case that happened in East Windsor. So I'm tired of screaming. I've asked and asked and asked, and Mayor, I had a conversation with you a few months ago. I gave you the solution. Nothing's been done. So congratulations.
Anyone else from the public?
Well, there you go, emergency management coordinator. I just want to thank all the partners in it, the fire, EMS, sir, everybody that was involved, administration, council, all during the storm and everything. Again, emergency management works when everybody works together. Okay, so it's not just me, it's all of us. All right. DPW, they did a great job. Police department moving vehicles out off the roads. Okay, when we declare a state of emergency, means the cars off the road. Okay, cars start getting blocking the plows. Guess what? They're gonna start giving summonses. Or if they have to get told, they get told. But we gotta clear the roads for emergency purposes. Again, thank you for all that helped out and being supportive. That's it.
Thank you as well.
Oh, by the way, thank you, school too. For coming to the fire department.
Dan Lennon, President Spotswood Board of Education. While Jose's making his way back, I also want to extend the thanks to him and his department. You know, obviously we weren't able to have school on Monday, but with getting the roads cleared and everything, we were able to bring students in on a delay on Tuesday. So thank you to Jose, the DPW, and our own guys, of course. Couple things I can address. I'll save you a trip. Yes, we do have cybersecurity measures in place in our district. Our employees do go through cyber training. Kind of like Mayor O'Brien said, everything is the best it can be until one day it's not. Then you go back out and you find the next best thing. So we are constantly improving systems. Our superintendent, as well as Tim, are constantly looking into new ways to improve security within the district. So there's that. Regarding the $1.3 million, I can tell you that at our last meeting, our state audit was reported on. It was made public. We received a no comment, or actually we did have one comment, and really came from when Adrian transitioned into the role. She has a mentor now from whatever her association represents business administrators, and he gave her bad advice on one line item. The money is all accounted for. Obviously, it was just one thing should have been here instead of here. That was a comment, but we did get a very favorable audit. Everything is accounted for down to the penny. So we are good there. It's public. I think you can get the report, or you can get a copy of.
Request a copy to us.
Yeah, so. What else do I have? You've been back here telling me everything I can't say.
Just
Been a lot.
we are also pursuing insurance claims as well. So it's not that we're not pursuing claims, we're in talk with our insurance companies. As the same as Spotswood is in regards with the monies that we've never received.
So whatever they come up with, we have a very large deductible.
I know.
It's a 6-figure deductible, so whatever it works, we'll get. You know, if the claim they'll give us after all their calculations and their actuaries come back as you'll get $400,000, but our deductible $250,000. Well, that might not be the best way to it, but if they come back and says, here's 1.3 million or whatever that may be. And that makes sense, that money goes right to the township. So we're opposed to doing everything, we've been doing everything the same in lockstep with the borough and filing insurance claims.
Yeah, no, and we are committed to continue working with the borough and the council. I live here too, I pay taxes, I don't want to pay any more taxes. So we're committed to working with the town, we were even in a meeting on New Year's Eve, to go over things, so we're gonna continue doing that, and we're gonna do the best we can to lower the tax on taxes for everybody in town, and we'll continue to be open, our meetings are Tuesday night. Don't ask me what the next one is, I'm not telling you. Week from tomorrow is our next meeting. They heard it, you shouldn't talk on the microphone, so. So, that's it for us. Again, thank you guys, thank you for passing the ordinance and the resolutions tonight. To move forward, we appreciate it, just getting this done as fast as possible. So we can obviously not have any program from the school affected, and then work to get this taken care of for the taxpayers too, so. Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good wrap too. Take a woman out of the pizza.
Anyone else in for public? Tim, anyone online?
They're all sleeping.
Nobody heard that?
Yeah, they're all sleeping.
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to close the meeting?
Are we going into closed session?
Pardon me.
So we are going into closed session on
We have a-
advice of the borough attorney. There will not be action taken after the closed session. Resolution 2026-66, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of any action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Potential litigation. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public when confidentiality is no longer required. This resolution shall take effect immediately. I will need a motion second, and this will be followed by roll call.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Calling of the roll, council members, Kramer,
Yes.
Legakis, Schwartz,
Yes.
Sealy,
Yes.
Saborni.
Yes.
Okay, we're now in closed.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.